Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today I'm here with the High Elves. We're going to be fighting up against the Skaven. I'm actually playing Pippington, who's a well-known tournament player, a very good player. So this is actually the second game we played on ladder. The first game he took me to task pretty well with my Big Bird build, which you guys have seen before. He beat me very narrowly. I mean, it was a solid win, but it was close. I definitely say I acquitted myself well, but he was able to pull that win out. So in our rematch here, I decided to go with the High Elves. He stayed with the Skaven, and yeah, let's have some fun. So as you can see from my huge spread out army here, we have gone with a bit of a Surtha elf build, if you will. We've got Prince up on the Sun Dragon. Of course, this guy's got the AoE breath attack, does a lot of damage to an area of effect, great against low armor targets, which the Skaven have a lot of. He also has a smaller hitbox than the other dragons, which is something a lot of people don't consider. You know, he's harder to hit with missiles, and when he's on the ground, he has a smaller footprint, meaning that less unit models can get attack animations at the same time. 70 armor, though, you know, pretty decent speed at 95. Decent armor piercing weapon strength as well. Kind of a solid all-around dragon. It's cheapest as well, and we've cut all the abilities on this guy. He's just got the dragon. So yeah, fairly simple. For a caster, we've got a High Mage here. So, I mean, obviously no flying targets against Skaven, but the High Mage is still very useful. Apotheosis is a great cheap healing spell, causes fear as well, which again going to be pertinent against the Skaven. It also procs that Shield of Safri, which gives that map-wide 11% damage resistance. She's also got Hand of Glory for another cheap spam spell, and Arcane Unforging, with it, which is direct damage, also gives plus 30 to ability recharge. It's a pretty solid spell overall. Very good against someone like Lord Skrolk that relies on special abilities to be successful. She's on the Chariot for anti-infantry, backed up by a Tyrannok Chariot here. We've got two more Tyrannok Chariots over on the far side. These guys are great against the Skaven. They do nice missile damage. They have quite a bit of ammunition. Anti-infantry obviously do a lot of impact damage since they're chariots. They don't have a ton of armor, only 50 armor, but they are very mobile and fast at 84 speed. So very strong. We've also got two bolt throwers. These guys are primarily here for counter artillery fire to help counter things like warp lightning cannons or plague claw catapults, which Pippington does indeed have a plague claw catapult, which I'm not sure if you can see it in the distance there, but yeah. So they're also going to be helping to take out rat ogres. The spread shot is okay-ish against large globs of infantry, but you know, it can potentially be useful. For infantry, we have 4 units of spearmen kind of scattered all across the map here just to act as roadblocks. And we've also got 2 silver helms for that, just again, more mobile shock damage, as well as 2 Illyrian Reavers, 1 here and 1 way out in the woods on the far side. So plenty of mobile, hit-and-run tactics. Well, something you would almost more see from the Wood Elves, but just with the bolt throwers as well, kind of acting as a bit of an anchor. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. For Pippington, he's got a very strong Skaven list. Nothing too crazy here, but he does have Lord Skrolk on foot. Probably the most competitive Lord choice for the Skaven. He's got Liber Bubonicus, huge single target direct magic damage. He has Vermintide as well as Wither for those Clan Rat summons, and the Armor Sundering, which is going to be great against the High Elves in general. Of course, he also has the Aura of Pestilence, which gives that -5 melee attack all around him. In terms of other units here, he's got 3 units of Rat Ogres. Again, the armor piercing and shock damage for these guys is going to be great against the High Elves. He's got 1 Plague Claw Catapult. Plenty of chaff units all around. He's got some Clan Rat Spears in the back. Looks like 2 units. And, you know, I said plenty of chaff, but it looks like that's actually pretty much all of it. We've also got 2 Storm Vermin, a pretty strong front line of Plague Monks here with a Death Runner for additional armor sundering. I really like this play. With the Death Runner and the Wither, you can get crazy armor sundering because the Death Runners is a percentage based and not a flat armor debuff like most armor debuffs in the game. It scales really well against elite tier troops, things like dwarfs and so on. If you stack this with Wither, you can get even units like Ironbreakers down to almost no armor, which is very, very strong. It means these Plague Monks will trade much more effectively, so really like that play from Pippington there. Very strong kind of synergy. He's also got the obligatory 2 Gutter Runners with Poison with the Snare Nets, and all that jazz up front to help slow things down and kind of bog down my units. So yeah, let's go ahead and kick things into full gear and watch what happens. So I'm going to be bringing my huge map control force just kind of up and around. You guys have heard me talk a bit about map control before, but that's kind of the idea with this this build. Is we have map control, we have the chariots do have a skirmish attack, so as I pull away here from unfavorable engagements, they are going to return fire, and because these chariots actually do magic missile damage, things like these gutter runners, for example, with their physical resistance, are not going to have any kind of mitigation, only 20 armor and, only that physical resistance, so the magic missiles will do a lot of damage. You can see these gutter runners actually taking quite a beating from those Tirnoch chariots. They fire multiple shots. You can kind of see they have a little scatter shot almost, so it's very good against low armor infantry, which of course the Skaven have plenty of. You can see we've collapsed over on this side. Since his mobile units were out of position, we just brought in the chariots and the Illyrian Reavers for a quick charge on these clan rats, just trying to bring this chaff unit off the field as quickly as possible. The counter artillery fire is real. We have destroyed 2 of the artillery pieces, and this is one thing about the Skaven artillery that not a lot of people realize. Because the Skaven artillery pieces are so large, they're very easy to hit for anti-large type artillery. Think bolt throwers, cannons, that sort of thing. They can pretty effectively counter artillery skirmish, and you see that all 3 artillery pieces are destroyed. So that artillery has basically lost all of its value without honestly getting too much work done. I mean, they did some okay damage on that Eagle Claw bolt thrower, but ultimately not the best value at the end of the day. But yeah, now we're just going to be kind of pulling Pippington's army apart. Of course, now that he has no artillery advantage, he's going to be the one having to advance. So I'm going to be able to just kind of pull back on my spearmen here and try and find favorable engagements as much as possible. You can see with the map control, we have a full surround with all my mobile units here, and the spearmen on this side with a couple of silver helms just kind of waiting in the wings like sharks, looking for opportunities to strike. So yeah, definitely it's tough though. We're a little bit behind on the balance of power just because the Skaven have a lot of really powerful units. Now that the cannon's been destroyed, or the catapult rather, we can turn the artillery pieces to the rat ogres. That's going to be the next best target for us, and we're going to get them up with a quick charge. Because rat ogres don't have a lot of armor, something like Illyrian Reavers with their 40 charge bonus and 27 weapon strength, solid combat stats, these guys are going to be able to get in here and trade pretty cost effectively with unit of rat ogres if they get the charge on the rat ogres. So you can see we've done quite a bit of damage there. We are going to need to pull away, but actually it looks like I'm just committing more Illyrian Reavers here. Going to slam into the side and just do quite a bit of shock damage to these Plague Monks here. A little bit of miss micro. We are getting some chariots caught out here, but that's only with Plague Monks. But you can see I've been able to pull away a large chunk of his force here. So if we pop it in slow motion, you can see I've got a large chunk of his force here and another kind of chunk right here. But his rat ogres are all on this side. You can see we've got the rat ogres right here. So what that means is I'm going to be able to collapse with all my mobile units. You can see I'm bringing these chariots around. I've cycled out with the Illyrian Reavers. We're going to be preparing to charge. And now we're bringing these 3 units of spearmen into a holding position so we can then collapse with the dragon and the chariots and just immediately kind of alpha strike this pocket right here. While all the mobile units are over here, they're preoccupied with this unit of silver helms, which has got only 2 kills so far, but acting as a really nice distraction. 1 unit of spearmen did get caught up and killed, but yeah, the alpha strike is inbound, so you can see the dragon landing, and that is going to fix a lot of these units in place. The chariots come in for a charge, just tossing the Skaven around like rag dolls, and yeah, the Illyrian Reavers a little bit late on the uptake there, but they are going to be headed in here shortly as well. You can see the silver helms did come in and just destroy this Plague Monk here. And now the spearmen are coming in for the fixing, and it looks like actually I dispatched those Illyrian Reavers to try and finish off the rat ogres. But yeah, the chariots are going to be pulling away now that the spearmen are here to fix it in place. Pippington, sensing my kind of alpha strike here, is going to be trying to unify his force back together. That's going to allow these silver helms to then come in and get a nice charge over here. Unfortunately, this bolt thrower did get compromised, but it more or less did its job of destroying Pippington's artillery. So that was very strong. Yeah, you can see the rat ogres are coming in though. Because these spearmen are not braced, they are going to take quite a bit of shock damage here. Skrulk also summoning up more and more clan rats, just keeping the balance of power from stacking too far against the Skaven. The dragon though, is a pretty good opportunity for a Dragon Breath right here. I'm not sure that I'm 100% going to get it, but it looks like I'm just trying to pull away there. Libra Bubonicus has been cast on the Prince, so I've been having to just spam that Apotheosis on him as much as possible. And that's been primarily where I've been sinking my magic into, as well as casting Apotheosis on the Chariots, of course. You want to try and keep these Chariots as healthy as possible so you have all 3 unit models. That way they're dealing the full impact damage when they charge in. You can see them chasing this unit of Plague Monks down, going to be doing some nice impact damage there. And yeah, just kind of chilling around, using these Chariots at this point to kind of push off the remainder of these forces here. The Illyrian Reavers chased off that Rat Ogre and now need to be brought back over here. But we do have Silver Helms cycling back around in a little bit of a bus formation, going to be trying to clear out some of these chaff units. And yeah, Bippington's committing a lot of forces here to try and chase down these Chariots, which, I mean, well, he should. These Chariots have both done quite a bit of damage already, both still fully healthy. Well, I say fully healthy. They've taken HP damage, but they all still have 3 unit models. But because the Rat Ogres are out of position, that's going to leave the Silver Helms to come in here and get a nice little charge on these Gutter Runners. They're trying to finish them off. They're just an absolute menace with that poison damage, but there are some Storm Vermin with Halberds nearby, so those Silver Helms are probably going to kick the can, unfortunately. This other unit of Silver Helms, though, still fairly healthy, 67 kills so far, and they're going to be pulling away from this unfavorable engagement, letting the Spearmen do their job of just screening out here, and again, acting as roadblocks as much as possible to just kind of block up Skaven units. And yeah, being pretty effective so far. Again, the name of the game here is just to try and pull the Skaven formation apart and just alpha strike isolated units with shock damage and try and take them off the battlefield as quickly as possible. The Dragon has come down to fight Skrolk, but Skrolk is no pushover in melee. He's also going to be summoning up some Clan Rats there, and the Dragon Ogres are going to be coming around doing some nice armor-piercing damage to the Prince. He does not want to fight those Dragon Ogres in melee. We're going to be bringing the Illyrian Reavers around to act as a screen to help him get back up in the air. Again, Illyrian Reaver is going to be pretty decent against Rat Ogres for the cost. I mean, obviously, you don't want to just stand and fight them for too long, but if you can get an open charge on Rat Ogres or a rear charge or something like that, Illyrian Reavers are an excellent unit for taking them down. We've got the Silver Helms coming through, nice Wither being used there, bringing them down to only 30 armor, which means any of these missiles that come in, or any attacks in general, are just going to be a lot more effective, especially from the non-AP units like these Plague Monks here, who are not really meant to fight cavalry, but they can definitely get some damage done with the armor sundered like this. So Spearmen have regrouped, though. We're going to be fixing some of these Storm Vermin and so on in place. Illyrian Reavers are still hanging around, and the Chariots are still rolling, at least the High Mage in this chariot here. The other chariot group did get kind of caught up, and one of them got routed off. The other one, though, still got 2 unit models, relatively healthy. So, all things considered, though, it's pretty much a wash at this point. You can see the balance of power is still very even. We've got some rallied Death Runners here currently stalked, out of sight, and yeah. Spearmen just kind of hanging around. The issue, though, oh man, I just missed that roast. Did you guys see that out of the corner of the screen? Just roasted a bunch of these Storm Vermin there. Been able to get some really nice AoE roasts with the Prince. Of course, that Sun Dragon Breath attack is going to be very good against the Skaven. He's up to yeah, 78 kills on that guy, so not too bad. The High Mage has got 49 kills, 67 on those Tyrnok Chariots there. Obviously, the Spearmen don't have too many kills, but yeah, the mobile units are really where we're getting the work done. 66 kills on those Chariots there. The Illyrian Reavers, 44, 100 on these Silver Helms, which is excellent. The issue is I'm going to face, though, you can see the balance of power starting to tilt more and more against me as this Prince continues to take damage from the Gutter Runners here, who just expended the last of their ammunition shooting up at him. So it's a bit risky, though, with all these Storm Vermin, and there's still some Rat Ogres hanging around as well. It's going to be tricky for me. So because the Rat Ogres are out of position, we are going to come down and try and goon Skrolk here. Unfortunately, there are, of course, Storm Vermin standing here. They're going to do quite a bit of damage, but oh, that breath attack, though, that melee breath attack. It's doing quite a bit of damage. Skrolk is taking quite a bit of damage as well, but unfortunately the Wither and the Contaminate from Skrolk and everything is going to rout my Prince off. The leaderships cannot hold up. And, we're in a rough situation when the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower crew is having to be pressed into service. They're, with the Chariots, though, they're going to be able to play a role here and help chase these Death Runners off the side, which will definitely be useful. And that's mostly what I'm doing. You can see there's quite a few Skaven units kind of rallied out in the periphery here. We're going to have a little bit of a mobile cleanup phase here where we just try and take as many of these tattered and isolated units off the field as quickly as possible, because this center pocket of Skaven is still very healthy. We're just going to try and continually fix them in place with the Spearmen here. You can see the Spear Wall holding very well against these Storm Vermin here. And yeah, the Prince thankfully has rallied 550 hit points, but we do still have some magic. And I've also been spamming the Arcane Unforging on Skrulk in this late game situation to try and do some magic damage to help break his leadership. Not 100% I'll be able to kill him, but you can see the template going down there, and here comes the Arcane Unforging. So that is going to add time to his ability recharge, so if he does have any Winds of Magic left or another cast of that Libra Bubonicus, I wasn't tracking it in the battle, so I didn't know if he had already used both. So I thought, let's just get that ability recharge and try and keep him from using anything too crazy there. But yeah, it is going to do some okay damage. It doesn't do the most direct damage, but yeah, it does bring him down to 528 hit points, and his leadership is a little bit shaky here. You can see the chariots are just kind of cycling back around. We're trying to avoid those rat ogres is the main thing, and just clean up the infantry at this point. But yeah, these Storm Vermin routing off the side. We do have some rallied Plague Monks and the Clan Rat Spears over here, so we're going to bring the chariots over to help deal with them. And yeah, just a long, grueling battle, a lot of micro with all these mobile units. It was it was a rough battle. It's one of the hardest battles I've played, definitely, and one of the hardest fought wins I've got against a very good player. And usually when I play Pippington on ladder, he beats the crap out of me. But I was able to eke out a win here, so well played, sir. It was a lot of fun. The game previous was a lot of fun as well. I may cast that one also. It was very fun. I've been using that Big Bird build quite a bit recently against the Empire, against Wood Elves, and also the Skaven is pretty effective, with the chariots and Big Bird and everything. But coming down for a charge, then just fainting away with the Prince. Don't really want to engage with the Rat Ogres right there. I want to find the opportune moment where I can get a terror route on these guys. Their frenzy is still currently active, so they're immune to psychology. So we need to somehow get their leadership below, below the mark. But at this point, the balance of power is pretty heavily in my favor, so we'll go ahead and fast forward a little bit through the late game here as the chariots kind of cycle charge. Did get caught up a little bit by the rat ogres there. You can see the wither coming down as well, bringing these chariots down to very low armor, but the apotheosis also being popped. The prince is at his healing cap at this point, so there's no sense in healing him, but just dropping him down here, trying to get a terror route. Unfortunately, it did not work, but it is going to allow these chariots to get one last rear charge here on these storm vermin and the rat ogres and everything, and just the shock damage. And even though they're not, really meant to fight rat ogres, just leadership damage at this point with Skrulk routing off, the rest of these Skaven units shatter to army losses. And wow, what a game. Super epic game. One of the best I've played Total War Warhammer 2. Thanks again, Pippington. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, 92 kills on the Sun Dragon, 104 in the end there on the High Mage on the Chariot. That's the power that having a single entity Chariot can bring, and getting that many kills on a caster, really nice value. So the Spearmen did their job of acting as roadblocks here. Really nice kills across the board on the mobile units as well. 54, but 2 chevrons on this Silver Helm, 163 and only 1 here. So I think this Silver Helm actually battled some rat ogres at certain points, and yeah, it was very, very effective. The Tyrannok Chariots as well, 59, 87, and 107. This one picking up an experienced chevron, so really nice work there. Yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think of the Surtha Elf build here. It's a lot of fun to play, very micro-intensive, but certainly worked out well here. Well played to Pippington. His Rat Ogre's got some good work done. I'm not sure, I don't remember if that Plague Clock Catapult had that XP chevron to begin with, but the Storm Vermin also getting some decent work done. But just at the end of the day, just couldn't deal with the overwhelming mobility here, so very well played. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'm keeping it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.